This is Prowl 1701, and today we're doing a comparison video between the Ultrasabers Dark Prophecy with V4 Soundboard and Tri-Blazing Red LED, and the Saberforge Disciple Champion Tier Edition, which of course has the Crimson Soundboard, their dark side sound font. This is their Sabercore 2.0 soundboard. Now, it takes a lot for me to try to stack a saber up against a Prophecy hilt. If you guys watch my reviews a lot, then you know I love the Prophecy. So for me to even try to attempt to stack something up against it, it has to be pretty awesome. And the Disciple is a really cool saber. I'm really fond of it. Now, full disclosure, I am using an Ultrasabers blade with the Disciple instead of a Saberforge blade, because the Saberforge blades only come in heavy grade. Their V4 Infinity blade's a heavy grade blade, which is twice as thick, has twice the weight, and makes the saber heavier and changes the balance point. I prefer a mid-grade Ultrasabers blade. It makes this much easier to use. Full disclosure. Now, both sabers look fantastic. They have great designs. The Dark Prophecy has that nice slanted emitter that I like. It has these two pieces right here. Give it a little decorative design right there, and plus it hides the retention screws that hold the blade in place. You have these cool choke points, that light that shines through that hole right there, and the CoverTech wheel is put in a place where it's not overly cumbersome. Gets just a little in the way of my fingertips of my left hand, but not much. It's actually positioned really well. And of course we have an AV switch, a black AV switch with a red LED. Now, the Saberforge saber has the weather design. Ultrasabers doesn't offer that option, but Saberforge offers the option to weather your saber, and it doesn't even cost extra just for standard weathering. They have other weathering options that do cost extra, but for standard weathering it's free, and that gives it that kind of worn look, like it's an old relic that I really like. You have this cool emitter right here that just screams Sith to me. These are not sharp, by the way. They won't hurt you, those points. And it's still kind of a slanted emitter like I like. You have these cool little points right here. Has to design a little choke point here. We have a kill key because the Saberforge sabers all come with a recharge port built in. You can get recharge ports on Ultrasabers, but they charge extra for that. And I usually don't go for that. But this one has it built in, and you have a kill key right here. You have a black AV switch with a red illuminated. It's red illuminated just like the Ultrasabers one. Although it sits more flush. The Ultrasabers one is raised off the ground. The Saberforge one is flush with the hilt. I don't really have a preference either way. I like both of those designs. And this one has a leather wrap on it, which I like. Ultrasabers does not offer any hilts with a wrap. And this has a nice leather wrap, which I like. And then here's the pommel with the battery. You can unscrew this and see the battery, but you don't have to. There's never any need to really unscrew that, since you can just charge it from the recharge port. But I like the pommel. It has a really nice design. It also comes with a CoverTech wheel right here, but the CoverTech wheel on this one, they always put them on the back of their hilts, and that does get in the way of my hand. So I always remove the CoverTech wheel. It just makes it a lot easier for me to use. So that is a point for Ultrasabers. They do better with their CoverTech wheels sometimes. Sometimes they put it on this left side, and I have to take it off. Let's see. Now, on the Saberforge one, you just take out the kill key, and that feeds power to it and illuminates this. And that's their standard red. Saberforge offers three different reds. They offer red, medium red, and deep red. At the time I bought this one, they only offered red, so I got this in red. And Ultrasabers only offers one red. Well, really, I guess two. Blazing red and then the Tri-Blazing red, which is a little brighter. Now, honestly, these two and an ultraedge blade look the same. The reds look almost identical. So the Saberforge regular red and the Ultrasabers Blazing red with the Tri setup, to me, look identical. This one has the flicker on. That's something Saberforge can do that just the Ultrasabers with their regular V4 soundboard cannot. You can adjust the flicker rate on this. This one's just a solid color. This one you can make a solid color, or you can make it flicker at different speeds. I have it on its fast flicker. Gives it that kind of pulse look like the original series had. I don't really prefer one over the other when it comes to the actual blades, just because or the blade color I should say, because again it looks the exact same. You can see both of them have red AV switches that light up. Now let's go Soundboard. Now this one has their Crimson sound font, which is their dark side sound font, which sounds very Sith-like. Not necessarily in the way the Sith Saber sounded in the movies, but in the way in your imagination they might sound, or like a really dark Sith like Darth Bane or something might have used. It just sounds evil with that hum. And you tap the button once. It sounds like Force lightning clashing on the saber. I really do enjoy the Sabercore 2.0, but it can't hold multiple fonts. It only has that one font, the Crimson font. Now the Dark Prophecy V4 has 8 sound fonts. That's their Sith font. And that sounds more like Darth Vader's and the Emperor's sabers from the movie. So that's a more movie accurate Sith font, whereas this one was more extended universe Sith font. And you can tap it once for their alternate sound, the saber lock up. Now this one, if you hold the button down, you can rotate.
Episode 1. Episode 2.
Confirm.
Hold the button down. Now I'm in my episode 2 sound font. So I can rotate sound fonts. Plus,
Episode 2. Episode 6.
now I've actually turned it into a stunt saber. It's muted. So now it's a stunt saber. That's pretty neat. In case you're up sabering in the middle of the night, don't want to wake the family or the neighbors. Their standard obsidian font.
Confirmed.
That's a loud, powerful font. Saber lock up just by tapping once.
Confirmed.
I like to keep it in the Sith font. So, sound-wise, this one actually has a good dark side font, but this one I can switch between the fonts, and that's a pretty good deal. Now, looks-wise, I think I got to give it to this one. Mainly just because I have other prophecy hilts, and I do prefer the standard prophecy to this one, the silver prophecy. See, they do a standard prophecy. That's it in Bane's heart right there. And I prefer the silver over the dark. Now, if I was comparing this to the regular one, the silver one would win just because it's my favorite saber, period. But, comparing it with the dark one, I think I'll give it to this one. I actually do like this weathered look with this grip. That's pretty neat. Now, actually holding it, this one's more comfortable because the way I hold this one, I tend to grip it on the lower half, and it doesn't work quite as well. It's still comfortable and easy to use, but this one I grip with my hands a little more separated. I have a little more room to work with. I do find this one to be a little more comfortable, and I do prefer to duel with this one. A couple other points. Saberforge actually has upgraded their soundboard. For instance, this is the Sabercore 2.0. They don't offer that anymore. Now they have the Sabercore 2.5 and the Sabercore 3.0. Now the 3.0 gets rid of kill keys altogether. So there is no kill key. But you still have a similar hole, except for instead of being a circle shape, it's more of one of those small ports, like what fits into an Xbox controller. So you always have that little hole right there, and that bothers me. But it actually holds 3 sound fonts instead of just 1. And you can get 3 light side, 3 dark side, 3 gray Jedi, or they do a mix where you get 1 of each. So the Sabercore 3.0 can hold 3 sound fonts. It just doesn't have a kill key to cover up the hole that's in there, which perturbs me. Then they have their Sabercore 2.5, which is more like this one. It has a hole similar to this. It has a kill key that covers it up. Hopefully you can still get the old style kill keys. I don't like these newer plastic kill keys. They have an older style metal kill key, which I prefer, like I keep on my Talon and my Exalted. But their Sabercore 2.0, they have 2 versions of it. One that has 2 sound fonts and a full voice menu board, and another one that has 3 sound fonts. So I did want to go ahead and point out that they have an updated soundboard if you order now. So each one has its advantages, and they're very similar in price, actually. When I priced these out, this one is only $16 more than this one. $16. That was the difference between these two sabers. $16. That's it. The Sabercore, you get the option to weather your hilt if you want. So you can get a nice clean saber, or you can get a nice weathered design, or you can get it in all black. You can do clean, weathered, or all black. And of course, you're going to get the Sabercore, the Saberforge blade, which is a heavier grade. You do have to keep that in mind. You get the option to change your blade sensitivity and your hit sensitivity, your swing sensitivity. This one gives you a menu board that lets you change all of that. You have the option to make your blades flicker at different speeds or remain constant to where it's just a steady light. And then you have the option, if you get one of the newer Sabercore soundboards, to have up to 3 sound fonts. Now the Ultrasabers doesn't have any kind of flickering option, and it doesn't have any kind of weathering option, but you do get the V4 soundboard, which gives you 8 sound fonts. So you are getting 8 sound fonts, and it is about $16 cheaper. But when you're talking something where the Sabers get into the hundreds, that might not be as big a deal. Plus the cover tech is better positioned on this one, although sometimes they come on the left, which is bad. So it's kind of which one just has the better deals you want. This one you can hold 8 sound fonts. This one, if you get a newer one, you can only hold 3. But this one has the option to change your soundboard sensitivity and all that, your blade flicker and all that. This one also has a recharge port built in. This one I would have to unscrew the pommel, pull the batteries out, take the batteries out, and put them on a charger, and then put all of it back in. They offer the option to do a recharge port, but that's like another $70 or $80. This one's only $16 more and has the recharge port built in already, and that's a pretty good deal for the price. So people say sometimes, hey, Saberforge is more expensive. Not a whole lot, especially on this apprentice hilt, which for my smaller size, I'm 5'6" and weigh about 125 to 130 pounds, it actually works out pretty well. Now we'll look at the Saberforge Disciple first. Now I tend to hold it lower, like right here, this little choke piece right at the front. I tend to put my right hand right below it and my left hand here. So there's not a lot of space between them. That makes it a little harder to use effectively. Because unlike in some things when they hold their swords, their hands really close together on the blade, you're supposed to kind of have some distance between them like this. But to me, that's not comfortable to hold it up here, so I prefer just instinctively to put my right hand about here, my left hand here. And I can still use it very effectively, especially now that I put the Ultrasabers midgrade blade on it. You can hear some of the clash sounds it makes. And I really can get into a pretty good rhythm, and whenever we're practicing dueling, I can actually do pretty well with it. It's actually very comfortable, a lot more comfortable now that I have a mid-grade blade on it. I didn't realize how much I really liked the saber until I put a mid-grade blade on it, and it's got so much more comfortable. I wish Saberforge offered a mid-grade blade. So, this one's really comfortable, and it's not an easy choice between them. And I almost think when I'm using this one it would win to duel with, but then I pick up this bad boy, the Ultrasabers Dark Prophecy. And it is just heaven to use. Heaven, heaven, heaven. The cover tape wheel is positioned almost perfectly. See it I hold higher up with this first little choke point right here. My right hand grips here, my lower hand grips at the bottom. So my hands aren't quite as close together, and it makes swinging just a little easier, which can make a difference in a saber battle, as I've been learning recently since me and my friends have been dueling more. And the cover tape wheel is nice and out of the way of my hands. It's right here. It does not get in the way of my hand. I think my bird finger just barely grazes it, not enough to bother it. Need to change the sensitivity on the clash. It's not really clashing, but I can change the sensitivity on that, so that's fine. Yeah, I'll work on that later. So, dueling wise, definitely the Dark Prophecy wins, even though they're both great to duel with. So, you're not going to go wrong either way dueling. They're both really comfortable, but I do recommend an Ultrasabers midgrade blade when dueling with this one. And again, you can see the reds honestly look the same to me. Again, this is the Saberforge regular red. Their deep red is a more darker Sith red, but just comparing these two, they look identical. The Tri-Blazing red and the Saber, and for Ultra Sabers and the Saberforge regular red. Now I feel like I can go slaughter some younglings. So both sabers are awesome. Looks wise, I think the Saberforge saber wins, just because I do think it looks sharper than the Dark Prophecy. But actual comfort wise, it's close. I'd say the Dark Prophecy wins for handling, and for actual dueling, I gotta give it to the Dark Prophecy, even though they're both pretty good for dueling in my opinion, as long as this one has a mid-grade blade. Anyway, we've been comparing the Dark Prophecy from Ultrasabers with the Disciple from Saberforge. There is no clear victor. Looks-wise, Saberforge. Dueling-wise, Ultrasabers. So I don't really have a clear victor like I did between my Exalted and my Archon. I enjoy both hilts. I'm glad I have both sabers. I'm not getting rid of either one of them. My advice is, if you like Ultrasabers, get you a Prophecy hilt, either the regular or the Dark Prophecy. If you like Saberforge, go with the Disciple. It's a good apprentice hilt. It's one of their apprentice hilts, and it's really awesome. So, this is Prowl 1701. I hope you enjoyed the comparison review, and thank you for watching.